Hello everybody and welcome to week 1 of HSA 1102 Introduction to Healthcare. As I said in my welcome message, each week I will do a review of the week, talking about some of the pitfalls to look for the week and some of the things that will be coming due. Alright, so the first thing you want to do is go to Getting Started if you haven't already. Talks about the course overview, some of the people that you need to contact if you have questions about the program or about your clinicals or anything like that. You can also contact me and I can let them know as well. Your course objectives, what you should be obtaining, the knowledge you should be obtaining during this term. The textbook, if you have not ordered the textbook, I do highly suggest that you do so. It will not be easy to pass this without the textbook, so you will need it. We have assignments that come from the textbook, so there are some that you will not be able to pass. So the certification, if you click on this, it's going to ask you to certify that you're doing your own work and not utilizing somebody else's or copying someone else's work. So once you go in there, click on that, hit true, and you're done with that part of it. The pretest. Some of you have already had some issues with it duplicating questions and not the same answers. What I found out from the course design team is that if you're doing it on a mobile device or on the app, it tends to take the organization of the pretest and it can't display it correctly. So you need to be able to take it on a computer. The pretest is an ungraded assignment, but it is required. What that does is it gives me an idea of where your knowledge lies, so I know how to better tailor the course to your needs. Also, we use it as a baseline at the beginning of the course, and then we compare it to your post-test, which is a gradable test at the end of the course, to see how much you've learned over the 4 weeks and how much you've retained. Okay, so for week 1, if you go right here, again you have the overview for the week, your objectives for the week, you have learning activities, post an introduction, sign the certification, the pretest, and then get started on your reading assignments for chapters 1 and 2, which we'll be covering this week. Now for the discussions, let me go to the discussion rubric so we can go over those. But you will find the discussion section here in the discussion board, or if you scroll down to discussion, you can click on it and it will take you to the discussion area, and you would just create a thread. If you're just starting a discussion, like you're answering the question for the week, or reply if you're replying to a fellow student. So when you click on create a thread, you should be able to type your response, and if you're replying, you just hit reply and then type your response to your fellow students. So now what this entails is that, let me go to the rubric, and the rubric, by the way, is a tool that we use to now you won't find this in yours because this is strictly for me. Alright, so the rubric is a tool that we use to grade the assignments. So what I'm going to be looking for is quality of posts. Were you thoughtful, reflective, and respectful of others? Did you post at least 100 words per post? And that's very important. If you did that, you can earn up to 13 to 15 points. If you met the expectations by appropriate comments and responds respectfully, but your post may have been under 100 words, then you can still get 7 to 12 points. If you respond but there's not a lot of effort in your response, you're just saying, oh, I agree with you, and there's no substance to it, and it's less than 100 words, then you're below expectation 0.6. For the relevance to the topic, what I'm going to be looking for here is, did you answer the question and make clear reference to what the question was asking? Because if you're not on track, I will ask questions of you to get you back on track. I'll direct you in the area that you need to look in the textbook to find those answers. Without telling you the page, you need to find the information yourself and then answer the question. So I will respond and say, I see where you're coming with, or where you're going with this answer. However, you didn't quite get there. If you go to chapter 1, you'll find a paragraph titled blah blah blah. So I'm basically telling you where it is without telling you the page. Alright, so that's what I'm looking for there. Spelling and grammar. I'm sorry, contribution to the discussion. Alright, now this is where a lot of students don't necessarily like the way I grade, but here's the thing. Not everybody is exceeding expectations. You're meeting expectations. So if you look at the titles above, up here, you have below expectations, met expectations, and exceeds expectations. So for the contribution to discussion, your requirement is that you post 4 separate posts on 3 separate days. So what's that mean? I answer the first question on Thursday, I answer the second question on Friday, and then I respond to 2 fellow students or the instructor on Saturday and Sunday. So in this case, I've posted 4 separate posts on 4 separate days. Or maybe I answered the first question on Thursday, second question on Friday, and answer both students on Saturday. So now you have your 4 separate posts on 3 separate days, which means that you have met the expectations. So therefore, the most you can gain in this section is 15 points. Now, if you post above and beyond the required number of posts on the required number of days, so 5 separate posts or more on 3 separate days, then you can earn up to 20 points because you've exceeded the expectations. If you have any questions about this, please let me know. Spelling and grammar. What I suggest to all my students is that you write your posts in a Word document, conduct a spelling grammar check, and it will reduce the number of errors that you have with spelling and grammar. Because for each spelling and grammatical error, I will take off 1 point for each one of those. So just be aware of that. And then APA guidelines. For the discussions, I don't require a separate title page. I don't require a separate reference page. What I do require is that as you're utilizing information, that you're citing it in your writing and that you have a corresponding reference below. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with APA, in the Getting Started section I did add some videos about APA, so make sure you look at that. There's also an APA tab within the Program Resources section, which is located in the left hand corner over here. So for the discussions and the discussions only, I need a citation within your writing and a corresponding reference just below your discussion. At minimum, you should be referencing the textbook because that's where you're getting most of your information. Now, if you've gone outside the textbook to gain information, make sure you're citing and referencing those sources as well. Again, look at those resources that I posted. If you have any questions, let me know, and I can either schedule a one-on-one Kaiser Live with you or we can discuss it over the phone and try to help you through the APA guidelines. I know this is very foreign to most of you. For me it was. We have APA and MLA guidelines, and when I went through my undergraduate I did a lot of MLA, and even my graduate work I think was MLA. Anyway, so APA was something new that I had to learn as well. Alright, so that's the rubric that we will use for the discussion. Any questions, please let me know. Again, communication is key to success in this program, so make sure that you are communicating with me. I think I said it in the welcome video that if you're going to be late with something, let me know in advance so that we can work out an agreement. But if you wait to the last day telling me you're having difficulties and you're not going to be able to submit it on time, that's not going to work. So just make sure you're communicating. Alright, so the week 1 assignment is something that you need to start working on now, doing your research, writing your paper, and you will have to turn it into the OWL online writing lab, which I will post another video in the announcement section on how to access the OWL and submit your paper through the OWL. What you need to do is, like I said, get started now, and there is a section in chapter 1 that talks about the problem-solving process, and you will write your paper identifying a problem in your life that you want to work on and apply the problem-solving process to that. And there are 5 steps. Identify the problem. So identify the problem, and as in your reading, you want to identify, make sure that you're identifying the problem and not a symptom. And when you do your reading, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Then gather information on that problem. So for me, if I'm looking at cancer or diabetes, I'm going to gather as much information on the type of cancer or diabetes that I can to educate myself, so that I can then go from gathering information to create alternatives. So brainstorm, create all the alternatives that are possible to you. Then from there, you're going to choose an alternative or a hybrid of alternatives and take action. Now, this is where people tend to fail, is that by not taking action, it's just a plan. You need to take action for it to move forward. And then once you've implemented that, you always want to go back with anything you do and evaluate your plan. Is it working? Is it not working? Why is it not working? What are we going to do to improve it? Or are we going to scrap that alternative and choose another one altogether? So I need to see all 5 of those steps in your paper. And it does tell you how to get to the OWL, but I'm going to film another video on how to do that after this and post that to the announcement section. Then you have your week 1 quiz. It's multiple choice, so go ahead and take that. An extra credit. Again, if you can attend the live session, do a summary as it states here, and then if you go up here to click on the upper left hand corner, you can attach your Word document that you write your summary on. Do not write your summary down here. It needs to be in a Word document. It needs to be spell checked. And then submit it by clicking the submit button right down in the lower right hand corner. Alright, so that's week 1. If you have any questions, please give me a call or email me. Email is usually best because I check it quite frequently, but I will accept phone calls as well if you'd like to speak over the phone. Alright, you guys have a great week, and Kaiser Live session.